All right, so you're going the distance, literally. Long distance love, it's got its own set of rules, its own challenges, but we're here to tell you it can absolutely work. We dove into a mountain of research to bring you the best, most effective strategies for keeping that connection strong, no matter how many miles are between you.
That's right. And what's fascinating is that distance doesn't have to mean sacrificing intimacy. It's about adapting how you nurture that closeness when you can't, be physically present.
Okay, so let's unpack that.
Yeah.
What are some of the ways we can rethink intimacy in a long-distance relationship?
Well, one key takeaway from the research is recognizing that long distance relationships are different, but not inherently flawed. They come with unique challenges, missing someone's everyday presence, navigating insecurities, even battling loneliness. But acknowledging those challenges is actually the first step to overcoming them.
So it's about accepting it's a different game, not a losing one.
Exactly. And one of the biggest things the research highlighted is how this new playing field can actually force you to be more intentional, more creative, more thoughtful in how you express love. And that can make the relationship even stronger in the long run.
So it's like instead of focusing on what you can't do, you focus on all the amazing ways you can connect despite the distance.
Precisely. And one of the most powerful tools at your disposal is communication. But we're not just talking about like firing off a quick, "How was your day?" text.
Because let's be real, sometimes a text just doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
So what are some ways to up our communication game in a long-distance relationship?
Well, think about it this way. How can you make your communication more intentional and intimate, even from afar? One powerful strategy is incorporating those small, everyday moments you'd share if you were together. For instance, research shows that hearing a loved one's voice triggers the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. So instead of always texting, try leaving voice notes throughout the day, sharing a funny observation, expressing how much you miss them, even just saying good morning.
It's like sending a little audio hug, and I can see how that would feel a lot more personal than a text message.
Exactly. And when it comes to those bigger conversations, think about scheduling dedicated video calls that feel like actual dates. Maybe you cook dinner together virtually, watch a movie at the same time, or even just, relax and chat over a glass of wine.
It's about creating those shared experiences, those
Yeah.
moments of togetherness,
Yeah,
even when you're physically apart.
exactly. And it's not just about like talking, it's about actively doing things together, even when you're miles apart. Like how about a virtual movie night?
Oh,
Syncing up your screens and pressing play at the same time can make it feel like you're snuggled up on the couch together.
I love that. Or what about starting a virtual book club? You could both read the same book and then have a video call to discuss it.
Yes. And don't underestimate the power of a little friendly competition. Online games are a fantastic way to have fun, laugh together, and create those shared moments of excitement that you might be missing.
It's all about recreating that feeling of doing life together, even when life has you living in different zip codes.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room when it comes to long-distance physical touch.
hmm
That's a tough one to replicate virtually, or is it?
You'd be surprised. What's fascinating is that when it comes to long distance love, absence really can make the heart grow fonder and more creative even without teleporting.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing? There are actually some really effective ways to evoke that feeling of closeness and physical touch, even from a distance.
Okay, now you've got me really intrigued.
Yeah.
Give me the inside scoop. What are some of these creativity-sparking strategies?
Well, for starters, think about the power of a carefully curated care package. We're not talking just any old box of goodies here. It's about infusing those packages with thoughtful touches that evoke sensory memories and make your partner feel truly seen and loved.
It's like sending a little piece of your heart in the mail.
Exactly. Imagine opening a package and finding a handwritten letter that smells like your partner's cologne, a cozy scarf they picked out just for you, or even a small trinket that reminds you of a shared inside joke. These small gestures can be incredibly powerful in bridging the physical gap and making your partner feel loved and cherished.
It's all about those personal touches that show you're thinking of them, even when you can't be there in person. I imagine even just the anticipation of receiving something special in the mail can be exciting.
Absolutely. And speaking of anticipation, another strategy that came up in the research is planning special virtual date nights.
We touched on this a bit earlier with the shared activities, but I bet there's even more to it when you're talking about a romantic evening.
Right. Think about those elements you'd incorporate into a date night if you were together, dressing up, lighting candles, maybe even creating a playlist of your favorite songs. You can recreate that ambiance virtually and make it a special occasion.
It's about being present, making an effort, and showing your partner that even though you're apart, you still prioritize those moments of connection.
And to really build that anticipation, some couples even create countdown calendars for their next visit.
Oh, I love that it's like a visual reminder that you will be reunited, which can be so comforting when the distance feels overwhelming.
Exactly. And speaking of the future,
That future planning is huge, isn't it? It's not just about surviving the distance. It's about knowing you're building towards something.
you hit the nail on the head. All the research points to this. Couples who thrive long distance aren't just going through the motions until they, close the gap.
Mm.
They're actively building a relationship that's strong enough to span the miles.
Which means tackling the tough conversations, right? Not just like, what are we watching on Netflix tonight? But the big picture stuff.
Exactly. Where do you
Yeah.
see yourselves in 5, 10 years? What are your individual goals and how can you support each other's growth, even from afar? These conversations can be, um, scary, but they're essential.
It's about making sure you're both on the same page, even if that page has a few chapters set in different time zones, right?
I like that. And it's not just about those big life-changing discussions. It's also about setting smaller milestones you can look forward to together. Maybe it's a visit, a virtual celebration for a job promotion, even just marking your anniversary in a special way despite the distance.
It's about those little reminders that
Yeah.
you're in this together, building a life step by step.
Hmm.
You know, it's funny, we often focus on the heartbreak of long-distance love, but this research really highlights the resilience, the creativity, the sheer determination that can come from it too.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, are there lessons here for all couples, regardless of distance? We've talked about intentional communication, nurturing intimacy in creative ways, appreciating the small moments. Aren't those essential ingredients for any strong relationship?
That's such a great point to end on, whether you're miles apart or just navigating the everyday chaos of life.
Hmm.
Maybe the key to lasting love is learning to be more present, more intentional, more grateful for the connection you have, no matter the form it takes.